Hey folks, welcome to Corvette Talk with Scags. For about 4 months now, all I've been doing is bombarding you guys with videos from inside my garage. But the weather is decent here in rural Massachusetts. We got the Centennial Edition Z06 out of the garage, and we're going to take a little walk around it, and then we're going to jump our bus in there and we're going to drive this sucker. As you can probably see, it's a little dirty. That's because I've been driving it all week. And folks, today, for your entertainment, I have a very special videographer on hand. My friend Big Scott is going to do some of the videotaping. Go ahead, Big Scott, videotape yourself so we can see who you are. There we go.
Hi, everybody.
Look at how cute. Anyway, folks, this is our Centennial Edition Z06. You can probably see that it's a very nice color. If the sun was shining, you'd get a little bit more of the metallic. You could probably see that it's not black, it's not gray. What it's called is carbon flash, and carbon flash is a really cool name for charcoal. So here it is. We're going to take you for a ride through rural Massachusetts. We're going to talk about the car. We're going to talk about some other stuff, and sit back, enjoy, and pretend like you're driving, because it'll be the only chance you'll ever get to drive a car like this. Hop in, Big Scott. Let's do this. See you in a bit, Nolan.
Yeah.
Future Corvette Owners Association member. All right, folks, so we're in. Scott, do you smell that smell?
New car smell.
That's a new car smell, and it's also the smell of Alcantara. Did you know that Alcantara's got a little bit of a smell?
I did not.
Yeah, well, that's that smell. Okay, folks, so to start this car, you don't need a key. A key is so blasé and old. What you need is your finger, this finger right here. You press this button, vroom, starts up. Do you hear that, folks? Oh, how about some music? Obviously, this a car that's that at this price point gonna have a kick-ass stereo. Who likes drowning pool out there? Yeah? Well, that's what we got right now, whether you like it or not. All right, Big Scott. So we're gonna pull this puppy out of here. As you can see, can you lean in there and see the heads-up display up there on the windshield? Can you get that? See a little bit above the steering wheel. You see that? You see that? There's our heads-up display. Cool, huh?
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to pull out, and I know that some of you through my other videos are probably realizing just how stinky it is to live in rural Massachusetts and have your cars in the garage for 6 months out of the year. And yes, it does suck, especially since I'm still paying registration fees. I'm still paying, thanks Massachusetts, I'm still paying an excise tax. I'm paying insurance, I'm paying all that stuff, and these cars are sitting in the garage. Well, now I'm going to show you why it's worth it. Because we're going to take a ride through rural Massachusetts right here, and there's a good chance that we are not going to see another vehicle on the road, which is nice because, hey, I like to drive fast. Big Scott, you live in a rural area. How often do you have to stop at a stop sign?
Oh, just about never, I guess.
And the ones that are there, you just blow through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Fuck it.
Well, the other good thing is you never see any police officers.
Yep, that's one of my points exactly as well. There's very few. There's not much of a police presence up here. There's no red lights. There's very few stop signs. So yes, these cars have to sit in the garage for half the year. But when I get them out, the drives are really, really impressive. You hear that, Big Scott?
Yeah, you can feel it too.
Can you feel that?
You can feel that for sure.
That's the feel of power, Big Scott. We got 505 horsepower and 475 foot-pounds of torque in this bitch. You know what that means? Lots of fun and a big smile on this dude. On whose face? This dude right here. So as you can see, Scott, we're driving through rural Massachusetts here. We got some lakes, some ponds. There's also the things that you have to be careful for, and I'm sure you know this, Scott, are things that are in the road. And up here in Massachusetts, just like I'm sure you experience in upstate New York, we got moose, we got bears, we got all kinds of stuff that runs in the middle of the road. So you got to be careful for that stuff. A couple of years ago, I steamrolled a porcupine. First of all, I felt terrible because, I like porcupines. That was number one. But number two, I was picking quills out of the front of my car for the remainder of my ownership of that vehicle. Thousands of quills. Anyway, can you hear that? Can you hear those stone chips hitting the side of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an alarming sound, Big Scott. When you have an expensive car and it's a dark color and every little stone chip sticks out like a sore thumb, it could be a turnoff. And I will be the first to admit that the first couple of years I had this car, I was a little bit of a bitch. I didn't drive it at all. I was afraid to get stone chips on it. I was afraid to get it dirty. Well, that's all changing this year. I'm going to drive the wheels off of this puppy. And are you ready for something, Big Scott?
Yeah.
This is going to be a new feature on Corvette Talk with Scags. It's going to be Scags tidbits. Corvette tidbits. You ready for a Corvette tidbit?
Let's hear it.
Okay. Corvettes are molded from the factory in white. Okay? So if you're on the fence about what color you want to get your Corvette and you live in a rural area, get a white Corvette. Because stone chips do not show up on a white Corvette. That's what I'm continuing.
They gravel your roads every year now?
I don't know what this shit is. This is a repaved road, dude.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a gravel road. And that's the sound of little tiny, millions of little tiny stone chips hitting the sides of my car.
I don't know how it is here, Don, but the other thing you might have to look out for are other idiot drivers. Especially on these back roads, because you have a lot of blind turns and blind hills.
Big Scott, are you going to videotape me? It's Corvette Talk with Scags.
Sorry, Don.
Not Corvette Talk.
With
It's me. I'm the video, Big Scott. Okay, so yes, you are right, Scott. And the good news is the biggest idiot on the road is me. And here's the thing, Big Scott. And I want to apologize. If there's a chance that you find yourself in rural Massachusetts and I pull up behind you, there's a good chance I'm going to do something obnoxious. I might swerve around you. I might tailgate you. I might pull into oncoming traffic, not like there isn't any traffic. But before I do any of that, I just want to say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be obnoxious. And also, I just want to say that it's the car. It's the car, Big Scott. It's not me. It's like the devil made me do it.
Everybody in New York knows that the worst drivers come from Massachusetts.
That hurts, Big Scott. That hurts. Hey, here's our one stop sign. All right?
Oh, I missed it.
Get a view of that. It's our first and only stop sign. Anyone coming that way?
No, you're good.
Of course there's no one coming that way. Let's get our foot into this thing a little bit, Scott.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Scott, this car has got what's called a bi-mode exhaust. Okay? You know what that is?
2 pipes?
It's 2 pipes that operate under a certain RPM. When you get over that RPM, the other 2 pipes open up, then the car gets very loud. Now, if you're just loafing around town, you don't really feel like making a lot of noise, you just keep it under a certain RPM. But if you want to wake up your neighbors, you want to be, obnoxious behind the wheel, it's your prerogative. All you gotta do is do that. Don't worry, Scott, I'm not gonna kill us. Because if I kill us, then I crash the car, and we don't want to do that. Anyway, folks, you can see that this is a nice drive, a nice rural area. Big Scott, get a little of the scenery around there. You know what we haven't seen, Scott, besides stop signs and red lights?
What's that?
Another vehicle.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is what I mean, folks, when I say it's kind of worth it to have your car sequestered away for 6 months out of the year. I got to talk a little bit about the car, Big Scott. Yeah, what's he doing? So, Scott, let me tell you a little about this car. This Centennial Edition Z06 is 1 of 10. There's only 10 like it in the world. So it's a very rare car. It was very expensive when it was new. It was over $108,000. I'm not saying I paid that. I had to wait till it was used for a few years before I could afford to purchase it. But it's a very exclusive vehicle. I know you probably watched the video I did on it a couple of months ago when it was in the garage. Let me tell you about driving this car. It is a very easy car to drive. It switches. You can switch gears with one finger. Pick a finger and you can switch gears with it. The clutch is very complacent. You don't have to put your foot all the way down into the clutch. You can put your foot halfway down. You can put your foot barely down. And I really think that what Chevrolet was trying to get at with this car was the C7, which was the next edition, which came with an automatic. Now, the C5 Z06 and the C6 Z06 always came with a 6-speed. This car is so easy to drive that it makes sense that they made the C7 with an automatic. This car is about as close to an automatic as you can get while still switching gears. It's like a gentleman's sports car. Now, I know I mentioned in one of my videos, look at the turkeys. Get those puppies on there. You got to be careful because they're dumb animals, and as you know, Big Scott, they kind of wander out into the road. But anyway, so Lost my train of thought. But anyway, driving this car is a pleasure. I know I mentioned in one of my videos when I compared my C5 Z06 to the C6 Z06 that I would choose the C5 Z06. The bottom line is if I lived someplace where I got to drive this car, drive a car like this all the time, I'd probably choose this one. It's very user-friendly. It's very comfortable. Where the C5 Z06 really takes some, it takes some responsiveness. You got to muscle it into gear. It's very loud. It's very much a sports car, where this car is very much a gentleman's car. All right, we're in our home stretch here. Got to thank you guys for watching. I know this is a little long of a video. To make this circuit around our block here takes about 12-13 minutes. Good news for me is that I got good company here. Show your face again, Big Scott. Get your face on there.
Hey, everybody.